And they haven't even been on the beer yet. That's not bad, is it? Oh, you have?
We have,
Oh,
yeah.
Paul Kirage has, and the wine. I was
Yes,
watching.
and the red wine.
Do you think the wife's listening to this, Paul?
I hope not.
Okay, hopefully not. There you go. Anyway, welcome. Here we are. The Great Dorset Steam Fair. I've been looking forward to this for weeks, and you just get that Christmas Eve feeling when you drive up towards the site and see the big wheel being built up and the site filling up, and all day so many exhibits have been arriving. I mean, we checked on site, we got through security. Setting up the tent was slightly more difficult. Isn't it a nightmare setting up tents and awnings, Barnaby?
It certainly is, yeah, especially, but now we've got us colour coordinated, it's a lot better.
Well, this is it. We do get there, and I found having a couple of beers did help that process earlier. So anyway, we're here at the Marquee gathering, so just behind the fairground, overlooking, well, what will we call this area, Barnaby?
This is the main drag through here, and this is sort of the, the western end, I suppose, of the site, where it's all the steam traction engines and all that are in the big main arena. We have the National Traction Engine Club tent and all the things going on down this end.
I mean, it is an absolute prime spot for Marquee gathering. You literally, you're right between the two main side bars. You've got, as you say, I mean, this area you won't be able to move when there's people around. It's just going to be fab, isn't it?
But we should have drunk on cider as well as on music.
This is it. You can take your pick. You see whatever makes it sound good to your ears, basically. So we've got here, this is an occasion where we are marking 100 years since the passing of Charles Marquee, and it's quite important to do something, and it's great that Martin Oliver agreed to it, isn't it, really?
Yes, he did. He said, no, I said about what we want to try and do, and he said, yeah, go for it, I'd be pleased for you to do it. So we said, well, we can't let it go. He was such a wonderful man in the organ world, I mean, to produce the organs he did, and we can't let it go. 100 years is 100 years.
So what we're going to do, we're going to have a little meander around the area, show you some of the different instruments that are going to be here, let you hear a few things tonight. I mean, thank you firstly, Barnaby, for opening up on a Tuesday night, which is a full 36 hours before the show opens, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, it is. We played last night. We must be absolutely
Wow.
mad, but there we go.
Well, tonight the generator is running. It's on my dollar, so this is costing me. The clock is ticking, so we better play some music while we got it all going. First of all, this is a treat. We're going to play the Mechanical Music Radio jingle, which was arranged by Hiddo Van Os for various scales, and you can still get a copy from us. So we're going to play the jingle. We'll let you hear that from the back of the organs. We're in the back of the truck at the minute. Fire away, Barnaby. I love it. People always stop and listen to the organ when it's that bit of music, and they're going, what the hell's that? I've never heard that before. It's a bit peculiar. So that is the Mechanical Music Radio jingle. Now I'm going to run to the front and record this properly, this one, because this is...
But it's a good roaring march.
That's great.
So
That's what we
give it a go tonight.
That's what we want, and we have got some merengue bits to bring you later on. So thank you, Barnaby. It's Light of Foot playing here on Mechanical Music Radio. Barnaby's just giving me time to run round the front and stick with us. We've got loads of great fair organs to play you between now and 10 o'clock, and a few best bits from last year's show as well. we have here with us a proper bona fide merengue organ, which is owned by Ben Newton, son to Barnaby, to Bo. Ben is 29. This is your 30th Dorset.
Yeah, 30th consecutive Dorset. Obviously, I don't remember the first few because who would? But no, it's been brilliant. We're really loving having this new site, and especially with the merengue display and merengue square, as we're calling it now. It's been really, really good. Really enjoying it.
It's great. And it must be nice for you to have your own organ back in Dorset, because since your dad built the replica, of course, the 48 hasn't been here.
He's taken over. Yes, no, it's lovely to have the 48 with us this year. Obviously, we just do a few local jobs with it, but it's lovely to have it out in the Dorset sun. Yeah. And taking its rightful place with everything else. No,
it is, and it's a good spot. We're right opposite Art Cider Bar, which is the legendary place to go for a drink, and also breakfast. I need to come up here for breakfast one morning and listen to the organ. That'd be nice.
Breakfast is ideal. You have a nice big fry up in front of you, and sounds of a merengue in the background as you eat.
Yeah, absolutely. This is what it's all about at Dorset. So, this particular organ, do we know a lot about its history, Ben? It's always very difficult to work things out, isn't it?
Well, so we believe that it was built in the very late 1800s. It's had an interesting life insofar as it's been in a set of chairs.
Yeah.
Actually, we've got video proof of it being in there. And I think it was one of the All the Fun of the Fairs, one of the old DVDs.
I know,
yeah. Yes, we've had it since 1989 when my great uncle purchased it at an auction in Newbury, and we've had it twice restored, both by Andrew Whitehead of Stratford upon Avon. Most recently in the mid 2000s, where the merengue keyframe was repositioned and up engineered. You know.
Sure. Yep. Little bit of restoration.
Upcycled, I think, is the term these days, isn't it?
Have we got a shabby chic organ here?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Is this what we've got?
Yes.
And the thing is as well, because I'm looking, it's proper old pipe work, and you listen to it, and even though it's a 48, it's quite bizarre to hear that merengue sound coming from such a small key size.
Oh yes, well it's a VB scale. The merengue VB scale has that added depth to it, really, which is why it made it such a good fair organ. The great thing about this is that in the mid-2000 renovation we did with Andrew, we looked in, and at some point it had been through Chapper's works, and there's some amazing pipe work in there, all from different instruments, but it blends into a lovely sound, and we're really happy with it.
It's a really nice old sound. Let's hear it. What are you going to play? Have you got anything lined up?
Oh, I've got plenty of things lined up, but I'll do something for the modern ones.
Oh, hey, hang on a minute. We're going modern. Very good. And this is 29-year-old Ben, son to Barnaby, presenting. Oh, that's quite nice. When you say it's modern, it is an old song, but it's a cheerful one. And you enjoy this. It's playing now on Mechanical Music Radio. his life in a set of chairs, chairplanes, and now with the Newton family with Ben, son to Barnaby. There it is, 48 key merengue. As part of a merengue gathering here at the Great Dorset Steam Fair. And over here, on the beer, they're here. It's David Ward.
Hello, James. How are you?
Well, what are you drinking then?
We're on the cider.
Where did you buy that?
I didn't buy it.
Yeah, I gave it to you. I know, exactly. Oh, and look, Robin's here all the way from Holland. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
We're good. We are having fun. This is your first Dorset. What do you think of it?
Great.
Yeah? I mean, what's been your favourite bit so far?
Everything. Een blauwtje.
Hey, Buzz! Is the correct answer. Give him a beer. You can come and see us here, Mechanical Music Radio's Organ Square, the Salisbury end of the field, for some great music. I'll let you hear a little bit of Blauja. Enjoy. We're playing this. Yes, here in Mechanical Music Radio's Organ Square, and just in front of the threshing area, which is putting on a really good display as some vintage steam engines and equipment going away, baling up. It's just looking great. And here we have something very interesting from Francis Stapleton, who brings something different to Dorset every year. We never know what we're going to get with you, Francis.
Well, I've got several different organs. I mean, we've had Astrid, the Harley Crossley, the roofs have been down. We've had a Wilhelm Bruder years ago, and this year it's a Gebruder Bruder. We're small scale, only 43 kilos, but model 111.
It's a real powerful organ. It belts it out. It's on paper rolls, and it's it's in the early days of before Midi and everything like that. The paper roll has a number of tunes on it, and it'll play for what, I guess about 20 minutes, and then it will re-roll and play it again.
Yes, 15 to 20 minutes, and it does re-roll. It was also possible to get duplex ones where it would re-roll and the other rolls started to play.
So the idea of this is it would have been used in a fairground ride, and it just would have played all day, and they'd occasionally change the roll when they get bored, I suppose, would they?
Yes, very much so. This sort of organ was often found in cakewalks.
I mean, it's very difficult to trace the history of some of this stuff. Have you attempted anything with this particular Gebruder Bruder?
I know very little about it. It came back from America a few years ago and was bought by Roger Burville. And he eventually decided he needed to help his son get his workshop, and I bought it from them, and there's no way I'd part with it now. It's beautiful.
But it's just a lovely sound. There's something I really like about this organ. When Roger and David used to bring it to Dorset, it was always one of my favourites, and it's got some really lovely old rolls, all of them. You know, there's a few patches of tape and things on to keep them going, but there's some really nice original factory arrangements.
Well, this one isn't factory. The one that's on now, a very old book or roll by Gustav Bruder, who was possibly one of the best arrangers ever.
Right, so we're going to have a treat. We'd like to fire it up, Francis. So. Yeah, no, he's going to switch it on. We'll enjoy this Wilhelm Bruder here at the Great Dorset Steam Fair. Wonderful. It's a 15-minute roll, so we don't have time to stay for all of it because it does. But it's just a wonderful. It gives you an idea. It's a 43 keyless role-playing brooder presented by Francis Stapleton. You can hear the rumble in the background of site generators, the threshing area, the wood sawing. There's so much to see. And did you hear that? That sort of motorbikes? Well, that's the stunt show in the ring next to Organ Square. So this is all the attractions that we're surrounded by. Fabian Krul's here all the way from Leiden with a display. Shane Seagrave and Rob Harris have got Dutch Street Organ Carol on, which you can have a go at ham winding. There's some real treats here at the Great Dorset Steam Fair, and I'm sorry if you can't make it, but we're bringing you some little bits and pieces if you stay tuned for Mechanical Music Reports. So at the Great Dorset Steam Fair, it's all about the Merengue Gathering, the main event where you can come and see a variety of instruments, including the one and only grand organ in the custodian of Peter Phillips. It's been a busy 12 months for you, Pete.
It has, James, yeah. We've all our work's been about the end cases because we thought it's iconic with this instrument, the brass work. So yeah, we've been right through them and we're getting there. There's still a bit of work to do. The instrument is still protesting occasionally, as these old ladies do, but I think generally she's on the up slowly, so we're well pleased.
We just had a news alert flash up on our phone that the Met Office have issued a heat warning today. It's blisteringly hot for all the instruments on site, but we seem to be coping really well here.
Well, at the moment, that's all I can say.
It's going to be a long day, yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there's going to be some howling, squawking and squeaking, but it won't just be this one, I'm sure.
No, absolutely. What I couldn't believe as well is I turned the corner up there just by White Scavioli. I started walking down past the Masterpiece and Amy Sparks Dean, and I could hear the A&R at the top of the hill and the brass work. There's definitely a change in all the work that you've achieved in the last 12 months.
Yeah, that'll be the trombone chant that wasn't really playing properly last year. And as I said, we've overhauled the wind chest and the pipe work. There's still a bit more to do, but we feel it's a huge improvement and noticeable in the organ's performance. Yeah. So we're well pleased with it.
Absolutely. Pete, treat us to a book. Oh, we need to mention about the CDs as well. For sale here at Dorset for £10. These are a series of recordings that have been done at Dorset through the years.
Yeah, mostly it is actually all taken during the evening concerts, and we thought a lot of the tapes were too good to leave in the drawer, and we wanted to share them with everyone and make it more widely available. So please buy them. All proceeds are in aid of the organ's ongoing maintenance, and we'd appreciate it very much.
That's great, and it's a very modest £10, and you get a lovely archive of the organ, the evening concerts at Dorset through the years. And what you can do, you can give them an email or a Facebook message would be good. If you send them a Facebook message, and it's just £10 plus postage to get a copy of that CD. They have got, but it is limited edition. There was only 100 pressed, so don't hang around. Send them a message today. Right, Pete, what we're going to hear?
Well, we're going to hear a lovely old Chiappa arrangement, Tiggity Boo and Argentina.
Great. Right, I'm going to run round the front. Thanks, Pete. Give me about 30 seconds. It's hot weather, so I'm not moving as quick as I should. Right, we're just going down the steps here. Oh dear, round the front. It is so hot today, and here we have the Gladiator from Dave Goodwin, all the way from Cornwall, supplying power for the A&R, not just powering the lights, but also the organ as well. Everything is running, 110 volts, and I'm giving a thumbs up to Pete. Here we go. It's the original and the best, and congratulations to Pete Phillips and Matt and all the friends of the Grand Organ for all their work during the last 12 months. Yes, here in Mechanical Music Radio's Organ Square, a variety of instruments. We always look at bringing you continental fair organs, street organs, you know, some of those different types of mechanical music, because we're at a quieter end of the field. There's space to sit and relax, get some refreshment. It's a little bit more laid back than the hustle and bustle of the fairground, with all the big fairground organs drawing in the crowd. So down this end of the field, we've even got a dance organ. We're thrilled to have Ken Slow back with his 97 key Mortier. Ken, well, your second time in a row to Dorset, but you've been coming for many years.
Yes, in the past we've come consecutively for, 15, 20 years even.
It's a big commitment, isn't it, to come to Dorset for 5 days and play the organ and get covered in dust. And
Yes, my take on Dorset Steam Fair is it's nice to come and it's also nice to go home again.
That's all right. Well, so it's fine. It's a nice way of looking at it because that means that you've got a good life at home.
Yes,
so that, you know, it's not bad. It's a good way of living, really. And I do love Dorset to bits every year, but to get home and have a shower,
Yes.
there's it's all the little comforts
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, 8 days is a long time.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, it is. When we sort of come on site, set up, because you've got a Bagsy your spot. We've all been in since sort of Tuesday. Now, tell us a little bit about this organ. I must admit, I don't know a lot about it, but I did see some old photos of it recently on Facebook with a Perspex front. Where did it used to be?
That was when it was in Butlins holiday camp for Selly, North Wales, and it was used for dancing. They had it in a dance hall, and then it got superseded in the 60s by the record player, and for some reason they kept it and put it in a storage more or less so people could still see it.
Amazing to think that even as late as the 60s was still being used as a dance organ for entertainment at a holiday camp as big as Butlins.
Yes, unusually I've got quite a lot of music in the early 60s right up to 1965 when presumably they stopped using it, so
Right.
I've got quite up-to-date music, so to speak.
I was going to say, so they were investing in buying new music for it at the time.
No, they constantly ordered music from Urban Van Vichelen and Albert de Cap.
Wow.
They used those two arrangers, and music was coming quite frequently over to Wales from Belgium.
And before that, have you managed to trace back some of the history a little bit?
None at all, no. In 1955, the dance organ front was put on it by the Alphonse Berson's Van Vichelen partnership.
Yeah.
Before that, no. Where it's been since 1928 when it was made, no idea at all.
It's amazing to think, because there were so many of these built, obviously, I suppose, with 97 keys. Is that a pretty common model, would you say, for organs?
This actually is an 84 key Mortier.
Oh, sorry. That's my
yes,
mistake.
it started off as an 84 key Mortier orchestrion, and it was myself that put the 97 key frame on it because there was a lot of compromises with the extra percussion which I wasn't happy with, and I wanted to restore the 84 key note scale back to how it was.
Right, really interesting. Now, we have got a bit of a treat, and I can't wait to hear this. So, usually Ken goes round with Keith Pinner, who owns a decap organ called Lucy, and Keith couldn't make it to the Great Dorset Steam Fair with Lucy this year, but Keith has sent us a little present. He has arranged the Mechanical Music Radio jingle, which you hear frequently every hour of the day, and several people have got this in cardboard, but Keith has done his own arrangement. But what he didn't tell me when he surprised me with an email saying, "Oh, I've done your arrangement," he's done 2 different versions.
Yes, you can take your choice of these two, James.
I want to hear them both. I mean, they're only about sort of 10-15 seconds long, I'm sure. So look, I'm gonna go outside so we can get a good. Thank you, Keith. Thank you so much, Ken, for bringing this.
Okay, James.
It's really good, and also thanks to Keith for arranging the jingle. It's. I mean, I'm very excited to hear this because Hiddo Van Os has done an arrangement, and you know, people in America and people who've got pianos. So we've had all sorts of different takes on the Mechanical Music Radio tune, and we're about to hear another 2 thanks to Keith. Right, far away, Ken. Here we go. And here comes number 2. And there's a short version that we can use. Thank you, Keith. I really appreciate the efforts you put into that. That's really, really good. Here we are back at the Marquee gathering at the Great Dorset Steam Fair, joined by Nigel Else. We're currently standing in the back of his 105 key instrument. Nigel, how did this all begin? Because this is a very unique instrument, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's as far as I know, I do know there is an 105 key dance organ in America, but there's no fairground organs survived, and I had the option to buy the remains of 2 instruments, and there were only the remains of. And I thought I'd get them and use them in a collection I've got at home. And decided that, that was it. And then I had the chance to buy the remains of another one that was being rebuilt. But he was rebuilding it to a different scale. It wasn't the original Marquee scale, so I decided to have a go and try and buy that, and I was successful. I bought it, and then I really didn't intend to do anything with it except just to put it in the collection at home, because I'd read all the literature that was about this model and how they were held in such high esteem by all the old boys that knew them. So I sat and thought about it for about, over a year, getting on for 2 years. And then it dawned on me that if I was willing to put enough time into it, I could possibly put it back together and make a working instrument out of it, which would give people a chance to hear something that had really been dispatched to history. So that's how it started, and it went on, and I thought when I started probably going to take 4 or 5 years. Well, in reality, it was 15. So a lot of heartache, hard work, and a lot of the stuff that was missing had to be remanufactured. And I was determined that if I was going to do that, I must keep it as the factory made it. And so I went to great lengths to try and do that. And it was a problem from the information point of view, because there wasn't a huge amount of information out there about this model. Only a lot of hearsay that had been given by different people that knew them in the working days. And as I got into putting it together and read about what these people have said, I'd often come up against a brick wall, because what they'd been talking about wasn't necessarily the truth, and they'd misunderstood it. And so it's like reinventing the wheel. You go in one direction, it doesn't work, you go back, and eventually you find the right direction, and that's really how it came about.
We were standing listening to it in the cool of the evening last night, and I couldn't believe the amount of pipework that was crammed in. How many registers have we got here?
There's 18 registers in this. Oh, that's not the biggest. I mean, some of the Gordon organs are bigger still, but they're dance organs. But on the fairground, that's probably about the maximum that you'd get. And that's what gives it its ability. You've got to remember, when these things were sold by the factory, they were sold to replace a certain amount of musicians. And your 89s and stuff like that, the smaller stuff, were built really as military bands organs. A lot of them anyway. This was built as to reproduce the sound of a symphonic orchestra. So the difference is, it's like the difference between a string quartet and a symphonic orchestra. They do different things. They can play the same tune, but they do different things, and that's really what it's about.
I mean, what piece have we got that we could play that would really show off the different styles of pipe work?
Exactly. We've got one which we've just had. Number 61, this one here. This is typical old fairground. Tell Me Tonight.
Beautiful.
We'll put that on, and then after that I'll give you another one which shows the width of and the scope of the organ. You think there were 2 different organs? One is totally fairground, the other one's totally dance.
Great. No, that'll be super. Thank you, Nigel.
Yes.
I'm going to go around the front. Nigel's going to switch on the blower, and we're going to enjoy this now on Mechanical Music Radio. 105 key instrument, 1400 playing pipes, 17 registers. Nigel Else's Marquee. Let's hear another one now. He's going to play something from the dance organ repertoire. Really can hear the depth of that registration. 17 registers, and every book just giving you something a little bit different on Nigel Else's Marquee there, 105 key. It's part of a Marquee gathering here at the Great Dorset Steam Fair. Just round the corner from Organ Square in his usual spot, you can see Graham Spencer with his 2 Dutch Street organs here playing. We're taking a break at the minute because it's a blisteringly hot day, Graham.
It's too hot, mate. It's far too hot.
We don't want to moan, but it is just...
I don't want it this hot.
No, this is something else today. But there you go. We're ploughing on. Graham from Raw Music Recording Services. It's a name you would know because you recorded some very iconic instruments through the years, Graham.
I have, yes. Well, we've done Margaret Cook's Ruth. It's got to be about 15 years ago now. I mean, that's getting on. I think I must have blinked too many times and it's all passed me by. But yeah, that one was pretty iconic. Although it was a nightmare to record.
I remember seeing the setup for that because you had mics in the front, mics in the back of the trailer, all round.
Well, we also had peacocks to deal with as well. I think one of the things that will stick with me is Kevin Mears and myself and Kevin Byrne throwing stones at the peacocks to try and get them away because they would not leave us alone. As soon as Margaret played that Ruth, they all came towards us.
Right.
Because they thought, I don't know, they thought we were food. Or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
What do peacocks eat?
I won't answer that.
Well, I wouldn't answer
peas,
that.
Peas, that's what they eat.
Right,
not the other one.
I think I'm a pea.
Yeah. And no, this is it. There's many recordings you've done through the years, but the world is changing, and I was really excited to hear that you now managed to press your recordings on vinyl as well as an option. If anyone gets their instrument recorded, you can have that as a vinyl release because it's coming back in, isn't it?
Oh, the old things are coming back in. It's I don't know whether you'd say the world is changing. I think the world is going back to as it used to be.
Yeah, true.
Whereas people once upon a time wanted everything digitalised and that. I think people now, even the young people, realised that all of a sudden records sound great, you know, and we've got a couple of plants that we've located that will do 150 to 200 pressings, which, you know, the guys out here who've got the organs, they don't want 2,000 copies of their organ. I mean, what are they going to do with that? So 150 to 200 is a good amount.
Definitely. And I think the thing about records, because we've all got at home, you know, 100, 200 records that we've bought through the years, and they all still play perfectly. We've also all got a drawer of tape cassettes, which are knackered and stretched and useless.
Now, you say about cassettes, because cassettes also are coming back. So watch this space. They'll be here. Oh yeah, they'll be back. They'll be back. Cassettes will be back. Yeah.
Graham knows his medium, so there you go, a little tip off there, folks. I think, you know, because CDs as well, even, you know, CDs, they get easily scratched. They just, you know, you can make a CD very easily unplayable, can't you?
They were never the indestructible item that they said they were going to be.
Yeah.
And in fact, a CD, they reckon a CD's got a life of 99 years, which is utter rubbish, because a lot of the CDs that I produced 10, 15 years ago, they've lost their backing. They just go, the silver backing comes off. No?
Well, it's good to see you here, Graham, and good to know as well that you're still busy, because you're recording Barnaby Newton's replica Marquee on, I think, Monday evening when the show is over.
Yeah, just as everybody's going to start rolling off, we'll start rolling on.
Yeah, it's brilliant. But that's the best time to do it, after a few days playing, to warm it up, and it's all settled and sitting there in position in the cool of the evening. That's going to be a magic recording. So
we hope.
We always have our fingers crossed. But you find out more about Graham. You have got a website. What's the address again?
www.dutchstreetorgan.com.
Excellent. Have a look on there. Recordings for sale, all sorts. Graham Spencer here at the Great Dorset Steam Fair, and this is Mechanical Music Radio. The Marquee special is on. There are crowds around it. Just outside here, just next to Barnaby and some Ben's 48. I said to Barnaby I'd like to go into the Marquee with him and do the interview, but he said I can't, I'm on duty on Royal Star. See, he's even steaming an engine. You're the boss.
I'm the boss. They say I'm the boss, but I don't know about that. I'm not quite sure really.
He gets his hands dirty, the governor does. That's all right. Yeah, literally. Tell us a little bit about the Marquee, because I had a browse around it. There's some lovely display boards about the history of the Marquee firm, and also there's some things that I've never seen in there before, like a set of bellows that haven't been restored. They must have been manufactured by Marquees.
They were, yes. They were found in a showman's yard in Kent by David Burville. And I rang him. I said, well, we're doing this little display at Dorset. I said, have you got anything Marquee kicking about in your workshop? And he rang me up and he said, well, I've got a set of old bellows. He said, they're not very good, he said, but you could have them if you'd like. I said, well, yeah, great. And he said, they come out of an 89 key organ. I said, well, anything's better than nothing, because we looked at the Marquee when it got here and thought, oh my God, we're never going to fill it up.
It's big space.
But it's a big space, but we have, it's done really, very, really pleased with it. So
we've got some Marquee books, also looking around as well. What's the barrel at the end there?
The barrel, as far as I know, is a Wright & Holmes barrel, but it came, it's one of Jack Schofield's treasures. And it's, I think it's a 48 key of what I could work out by the number along. And he lent it so we could see the barrel, the difference between barrel, book music, and there's a few Midi bits in there as well. But so you can say how it's moved on.
I think that's the thing. It's showing about mechanical music and just the different aspects of it, and that's what it's all about. And there's a lot of interest. I think it's wonderful that Martin Oliver's allowed this space this year for this lineup of fairground organs, and also to showcase mechanical music. It's what we've got to do, Barnaby.
We certainly have, yeah. I mean, if we don't do it, it's going to die, sadly. I mean, I'm getting on a little bit, so it's nice for younger people to come and have a look and see how things are going. So, keep it going as long as we can.
Just up from Organ Square in the Salisbury end of the showground, you can come and see Peter and Rosemary Hood, who are here every year, and Peter and Rosemary present a really good display with the Roll Cutter Roadshow. Peter, what sort of things can people do in the gazebo here?
Well, we started off many years ago doing parts and plans for people to build their own organs, predominantly paper roll organs, but we've moved into different areas over the years, now quite heavily into Midi products, having recently just bought the J Omega company out from John Whale, which we're very pleased to have done, and that's all going very well, so we're quite heavily into Midi stuff now. Keyframe players, scanners, that sort of thing.
I mean, this is world first. One of the things you developed is a drop-on keyframe player. So this drops on. So if you wanted MIDI on your organ, but you didn't want to make any alterations whatsoever, this is a unit that drops on to the keyframe, and it works for keys like it's playing book music. So it tricks the organ into thinking it's playing a book, basically.
Exactly. Yeah. Similar to describe it really as a push-up on an old piano, that sort of thing. We built quite a few of those units for museums, etc. So
I mean, it's quite incredible because I've seen the insides of one of you. There's a lot packed in there. The springs, the magnets, the wiring.
There is a lot inside them. Yeah, they're quite complicated things, as you say, very compact, or as compact as we can get them.
Yeah.
Beauty of them is, of course, the cost of the music.
Yeah, well, exactly, and you can have whatever you want. You can try stuff out, you know.
And that's what it's all about. I mean, for the museums, I mean, they wanted to produce more CDs, and it's far cheaper, obviously, the MIDI music than buying books. So,
So you can see an example of a keyframe scanner, of parts to build your own organ. I mean, over here, Pedrosa, which is playing at the minute, this is an organ you built, God, it must have been over 10 years ago now.
Oh, more than that, yeah. That was built approximately 2001. Yeah, that's right. So
what started it all out?
Well, obviously the hand turn, that's where I started,
right.
And just progressed from there, and seemed to have got a bit carried away.
It does go on and on, but it's great you've got the business from John supplying the whale boards, which frankly, if you're going to have a MIDI system, you'll need something like the whale board, something reliable to power it. That's the idea, isn't it?
Absolutely, and because John's been doing the boards since, I don't know, late 70s, early 80s. They're well proven, reliable, and at a good price, so it seems silly not to have the opportunity to purchase a business. Yeah.
And it's great news now that as well you're shipping to America, so there's all sorts of new open avenues ahead. I think it's really positive stuff, and just if you look around here, we've got examples of carved work, we've got pipe work from different organs as well on display, we've got percussion instruments to keep the young uns entertained as well. Peter, good work for you and Rosemary, well done.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, thanks for coming down and spending time with us. Yeah,
it's brilliant. Rollcutter.com is their website, and we'll leave you with a little bit of music here from Pedrosa, which is Peter's self-built organ, 65 key. Already heard Barnaby Newton's replica merengue, but because it's merengue gathering this year, we've got a few other special bits, like Barnaby bringing his 48 key, and also something brand new, and it's the one that everyone's been waiting to see, from Mark Rawlins, his replica merengue, which took him, I believe, 3 years to build, Mark?
3.5 years altogether.
How the heck do you do that in 3.5 years? Because I've just been...
A lot of hours and a lot of work.
I was going to say, you must have been blooming gangbusters going for it with it. I mean, if you just close your eyes, and I'll let you hear it in a minute. I know I'm teasing you a little bit, and the thing is, it's a bit awkward because there's about 40 people standing out the front waiting to hear it. So I'm holding you up a little bit here, Mark. But tell me a little bit about how it all started.
On the 25th of January 16, we started building it with the 2 skids at the bottom, with the help of Andrew Whitehead, who wouldn't leave me alone until I started it. So he said, we need to build another one. And we started then, and we actually finished it 3 weeks before Banbury Rally, which was the last weekend in June this year.
And you must have been working around the clock because you have that, I guess, Banbury was the deadline, was it? Or did it move?
We made it the deadline, yes.
Right.
We had to make a deadline.
Yeah, no, you do.
It wouldn't go on, it would go on forever.
Well, this is it. With all good things, you've just got to do it in the end, and you have. This is it. I mean, is this the finished article now? Is this, or is there anything
work
else
to be done on the front
there
of
is?
it? Musically, it's finished.
Yeah.
Aesthetically, it's got to have a bit more work, more lights,
Yeah.
more artwork, and that's about it, really.
Yeah. But
Trailer's got to be painted.
I'm pleased to hear you say that musically it's ready, because it absolutely is. It sounds 100%. Look, everyone's waiting out the front to hear another one. You go in the back, Mark. We're going to hear one. I don't. Is there anything in particular you're thinking of playing us? I don't know.
No, I'm going to stick to some old fairground tunes.
That sounds like a good idea. Proper old stuff, and this is what the Marenghi Gathering is all about. It's about celebrating the heritage, the great Charles Marenghi 100 years after his passing. And the thing is, with some of these replicas and original instruments on display at Great Dorset Steam Fair, you just get a real flavour of what it's all about. Here it is, Mark Rawlins. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a round of applause for Mark Rawlins and his replica?